So I come from University of Lapland, as Timo already introduced, from the Faculty of Art and Design. And when we were thinking a few years ago that how we should develop Lapland, like the companies in Lapland and also the social sector in Lapland, we thought that we need more international networking. And we figured out that creating an international master's degree program would be a good way to get people to study in Lapland and to be like experts in art and design, and then also work in Lapland, and to have very good international connections through their different backgrounds. And thus we applied and got funding from European Union for Arctic Art and Design master's program, where we call students from everywhere. We actually have lots of students from China and few from Europe, from really many countries. And we hope that some of them would then stay in Lapland and bring the expertise of art and design to everywhere in Lapland. But of course, probably it will happen that many of them like learn the skills and then go to work also elsewhere. We have been running this for a couple of years now, so none of our students have yet graduated. We wait first ones to be finished in their studies next year. We built the studies so that all of the students learn basics of Arctic issues, like art and culture in the Arctic, but also something about the Arctic nature. They do design studies, mainly service design, and then they do some studies in environmental art and in community art, research and such academic studies. Every one of our students is doing some project-based studies together with a variety of partners. They could be, for example, from the tourism sector, from the healthcare sector, or they could be like associations. And the project is like based on the needs defined by other people than the students themselves. So they actually has to have a real need for the project. We encourage them to use art-based methods, creativity, maybe community art, user-centric design to work with the needs of the project. And the results could vary from public art to community art, new services, and improved services. And all of the projects are somehow connected to the Arctic issues and the communities and environment in Lapland where we are working, or like, let's say, in the Barents region. And to have a little bit more resources for these projects, we have also set up few projects where we can then place these students to do their project studies. So I present shortly also two other European Union funded projects. First of them is called Art Gear, and it is a two-way integration of young people through art. At the moment, there is so much people from many places in the country coming to Finland and Lapland as well, from Syria, for example, that they need lots of support to get integrated to Finnish society. And at the same time, Finnish young people are actually quite racist. So they have lots of attitudes and they have a lot to learn about being with people from other countries. So that's why we call this two-way integration. And in practice, we have been working together with students and professors from the social work. Then us as an art faculty, and then artists from the Artist Association of Lapland and from the association called PISTE, which is a cross-artistic art association. So artists, students, professors and students of social work together have created workshops for young people who are immigrants and who are Finnish to work together. And this is one of the case examples where our students of the master program then get more experience of working with various communities. And second one is environmental art for tourism, since the tourism is, especially like nature-based tourism, is quite big livelihood in Lapland, and that is also the livelihood that can battle the plans of having new minings and using more and more natural resources. We find that tourism and developing sustainable tourism is more sustainable than many other industries in Lapland. So thus we want to use art and design to support sustainable tourism. And one practical way of it is to increase the use of environmental art in tourism business and in tourism sites. So here again we collaborate with 4 business owners and let our students to work with them to make new plans. This is my part. Somebody else to continue.
My turn, is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have a presentation, so you can watch me, like you. Greeting from Rovaniemi, which was in the morning just the capital of Arctic design, and now it's also the capital of art and design of Finland, like we agreed in the first. I'm a producer of Arctic Design Week. I'm a designer myself, and I'm an entrepreneur doing the creative business, owning my own startup, doing the design and production, many kind of. But I'm telling you a couple of words about Arctic Design Week. Arctic Design Week is the world northernmost design week since 2009, when it was Rovaniemi Design Week, and thank you, Päivi, who have been creating the concept of the design week in Rovaniemi. I think that 2013 we changed the name to be Arctic Design Week. There is many reasons, but one of the biggest reason is that I think somewhere in 2010 there was starting a discussion about the Arctic design, what is design in the Arctic, and then we decided, okay, that's very interesting brand to connect the design and Arcticness and Arctic, and that's why we decided to rebrand it to be Arctic Design Week. So what is Arctic Design Week? Arctic Design Week is a platform to show and present art and design. There is a big and important part of the Design Week is to help businesses to understand the value of design. Why do you use design in the business? What are those benefits when you are using the creativity in your processes? And that's the one big part. And that's why we have one of the main events is the seminar and business events for the businesses. The main organizer of the Arctic Design Week are the University of Lapland, the city of Rovaniemi, and my company is producing it. It's also a platform to show and present the art, to many kind of art. In our perspective, and from my perspective, inside the frame of Arctic Design Week, the design is industrial design, it's service design, it's graphic design, it's art, it's movie, it's the whole creativity. I think that one very big part of Arctic design is sustainability. That because we have this pure Arctic in here where we are living, we need to take care of it. And we need to design the future, the processes, what we are doing here, a sustainable way. And the design is very important and excellent tool to design those processes to be better and to be more sustainable. So that's why the Arctic Design Week is a very important platform to teach companies and organizations and people to value of design and sustainable development. Inside the Arctic Design Week, there's many kind of events. There is a fashion shows, there is exhibitions, there is a business seminars, there is dinners, there is many kind of platforms to have experiences, and that's all about the design. Design is to create better customer experience, and in the Arctic context, to make it to be more sustainable and do it a sustainable way. Besides Arctic Design Week, during this summer we have first time to Arctic Art and Design Summer, that we have created a new platform in Rovaniemi to present Arctic art and design also in the summertime. So our goal is to have Arctic Design Year, the whole concept where we are talking about meaning of design, Arctic issues, to sustainability, to creativity, to have platforms to matchmaking between different kinds of peoples and organizers, and talking about design. Yes?
Yes. I think I have to stop you there. We're quite ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Say it like that. Or behind, maybe. Please, Päivi.
Okay, thank you.
We are 25 minutes behind schedule, so.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. I was given the last of us four chance to speak, maybe because I try to put the thing in the context. Ethan Berkovich, you remember the mayor of Anchorage who spoke yesterday, very beautifully said that art makes you think. There's a difference between art and design. If art makes you think, in my opinion, design makes you, or at least helps you act. Design is a catalyst. It's not an end result itself, but it's in the service of processes. So art makes you think, design makes you act. Another point, wicked problems, especially relevant in the context of Arctic, the whole Arctic region. The whole Arctic region is 2 times Europe plus 2 times United States. That's the geographical space of Arctic as a region, with only 4 million people. So problems, challenges are very special in the Arctic. Many of the challenges are wicked problems as we know them. Climate change, it has been talked about already. Aging of population, differences between indigenous people and the rest of the people who live in the world, change in natural resources, political issues, etc., all quite wicked problems. What does art do with wicked problems? Again, I see art as making statements, waking people up. But this is not the role of design. What is the role of design is that design tries to solve problems. Design tries to solve the wicked problems as well. So it's a tool to solve problems. A third issue. This is something Paul Romer, the chief economist of the World Bank, said. Growth springs from better recipes, not just from more cooking. And how this bears with the Arctic and design. It bears with design in the sense that we should also talk about creative industries when we talk about art, when we talk about design. Creative industry, we have been talking a lot about creative industries as in themselves during these 2 days, in my opinion. With design, you also have to talk not about developing design as part of creative industries in itself, but we need also to talk about the role of design as part of creative industries in collaboration with other industries, be that climate change related industries, energy related industries, tourism, whatever industry is valid and developed in the Arctic in a sustainable manner. Design, as part of creative industries, becomes a tool to help develop other industries as well. So there's a relationship, and there should be a very strong relationship between design as an industry and all other industries, because design is a tool to develop other industries as well. That was my third point. And then the fourth point is people first. This was mentioned by someone yesterday. It was maybe mentioned by the Minister of Culture, because that's the title of Norway's approach to Norway being the chair of Nordic Council of Ministers this year. People first, you could say that design is about people first, because what we used to do in design was that designers used to be representatives of users in product design. Now, the way we think is that design is a participatory process. You need to have the users, the people involved in the process directly if you want to create outcome solutions that really serve people. So people first is a very important issue in design. And this relates directly to all the discussion we have had yesterday and today, especially with the indigenous people and the need to be part of, need to be included, not excluded. Last, Maretani Sara said in today's first panel discussion that she was a bit confused because Arctic has been discussed as a resource, and often, even in this event, and often as a resource for the rest of the world. So from this point of view, design should be in a role where it helps the Arctic and people in the Arctic to be a subject in its own environment, not as an object. The president of Finland, Sauli Niinistö, said 2 weeks ago when President Trump made the decision that USA will step out of the Paris Climate Agreement, that if the Arctic is destroyed, the whole world is destroyed. And this, I think, is why everyone in the Arctic, as a subject, should also pay attention to how it affects the rest of the world. What happens in the Arctic does not stay in the Arctic. It affects the rest of the world as well. And the last sentence, design in itself, the way I see design, has no value in itself, but it's a very useful tool in the service of society. And this is true with Arctic design in the Arctic as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for participating. Thank you. You can just take your seats in the audience. And now we have a guest from very dear guest from Luleå, a beautiful town in Sweden. She's the CEO of the Filmpool Nord, which is a film center, which is not a film center. It's everything. And they have maybe solved the thing that politicians, bureaucrats, and everyone's looking for, how to combine business, arts, and what's the fun? What's it more you do?
What is it we do?
Yeah,
but we fill the hotels.
Yeah.
Isn't that the thing with
the
us?
tourist part.
Yeah.
Well, we spoke about that this
But
morning. Now we're going to have a nice time.
Yeah.
I think we have a presentation ready now. Maybe.
Should I fill you up while she's...
Yeah. You can just start.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm the head of Filmpool Nord. We are a regional film fund in the north of Sweden. But we also have responsible for media literacy, working with to support in schools that the teachers use films and moving images as a part of the education and so on. But this moment, I will concentrate on the part the fund part, the fun part, and the film fund part of our company. It is a public-owned company, I should say, but when you listen to me, you might figure out that I'm a part of the industry, and then I'm doing very well, because that's the way we work. We are very close to the industry all the time, but with public funding. I have, thank you, and I have the trailer here as well.
It's on the desktop. Do you want to just give
Yeah.
me a link when you want to use it?
No, we use it now. Because I have this rule that you should never talk about what we're doing, except you should always show something. And here we have I shouldn't say small trailer, because it's heavy stuff, from our last success, and it has recently been screened at NRK in Norway, and perhaps some of you have seen it. Midnight Sun, Jour Polaire. Varsågod. Och ljud.
Et j'ai reçu un appel d'un juge qui instruit le meurtre d'un Français là-bas. Il a été tué d'une façon assez dingue. Franchement, je préférais que ce soit toi.
Ok.
Uhtasutta rukkisaat. Päivi. Kiehpoka. Kovi.
Jag tror vi står framför en gärningsman, eller gärningsmän, som vi tidigare aldrig har sett där uppe.
This is Kahina Sadi, and she is a police officer from Paris.
When does the sun actually go down?
In a few weeks. Welcome to the land of the midnight sun.
If people find out there is a Sami connection to these murders, you know, I don't even want to think about what's going to happen up here. This is the pattern of a gigantic Sami drum. Goat is the most sacred object of the Samis. And the Noid, the shaman, uses it to travel between the worlds or to sacrifice to the gods.
Sacrifice. If anyone speaks a single word about our secrets, this will happen again.
Säg det då. Säg det då.
Det är väl klart att jag kommer ihåg att om det här kommer ut så kommer flera barn att dö.
Det som gör mig orolig, det är Kambo. Skriver ner varenda ord, men han skriver fan jämt. Han är helt störd i huvudet.
Du menar att han kan ha skrivit ner vad vi gjorde?
It's unwise to disturb the Noid when he travels between worlds. He may return with darkness.
Last night, Gorilla gave me some information on Piakan.
What kind of information?
Political.
On n'avait aucun ami ici, Kaina. Personne n'en a rien à foutre de vous. Recommencez à penser comme un vrai flic.
Je suis là, je suis toute seule, je sais même plus ce que je fais ici. J'ai l'impression que tout le monde en sait plus que moi.
Ända sedan jag var liten har jag burit på en känsla om att något ska hända. Något elakt. Det stora lidandet.
Vad innebär det?
Ja, det hade jag hoppats att du skulle tala om.
Tu crois qu'un jour, t'arriveras à m'aimer sans avoir mal?
Si tu me laisses. Si tu me laisses.
This is bad. Very bad.
So, are you awake? What is this? This is high concept international TV drama. And it was that kind of quality that made a French TV company come to the north of Sweden and invest 60 million Swedish crown in this, 6 million euro, approximately. Never happened before. So it was kind of a breakthrough for us. Now I should use this. And what happened afterwards, you can guess. Of course, a lot of discussion about the theme in this TV crime, but we have loads of requests of coming to us and make TV drama. A kind of a situation where the rumor is come to the north of Sweden and die in a spectacular way. And we won't accept to be in that box. So we are looking for some comedy now. Spread the word. I mean, there are bad times in the world. It's really nice to have a laugh sometime. No, why did they invest 60 million, the French TV company, 60 million Swedish crowns in Norrbotten to make this? I think the names of the script writers and directors is the answer. They had a good trust in those guys. It's Måns Mårlind and Björn Stein that made the bridge. When Swedish television present which countries that they have exported the bridge to, they now show a slide with the 4 countries that hasn't bought it. Because the list where all the countries that they have made, they have shown it or made a own version of it is that long. That is not exactly the case with Midnight Sun yet, I should say. But today we have a figure, it's exported to over 70 countries. So I should say the area of Kiruna, the north part of our region, they shouldn't print any colorful brochures and spread over the world. I mean, they do the job. It's spectacular. And it had over 13 million viewers on Swedish television. Very, very good figure compared with this landscape we have today. The competition, HBO, Netflix, and so on. I mean, you almost not get that kind of figure. Special with it was also that it is 5 languages. You saw the title in this trailer, Midnight Sun, and it was changing, it passed 5 different languages. And the first time that Swedish television made a co-production with French TV. And there are some of the countries that it has been screened during this year. And we kind of, what we always try to do in this business is to create a meeting that so many people as possible see the same thing at the same time. It's called lägereld in Swedish. What's the English word for it? Campfire, yeah. We want to create campfires. And we really did that because every Monday morning, it was screened on Sunday at 9 o'clock. Every Monday morning, I had the journalists in the phone. There was some new angle that they wanted to discuss. It was the wrong kind of milk that they were drinking in the sea, and it wasn't from the local companies that deliver milk in the north of Sweden and so on. I mean, it was every single piece of it. And finally, one just relaxed a bit and didn't start to defend oneself. relaxed a bit and just thought that, wow, what an engagement it is around this, that you have to realize. I haven't prepared what I should say today because it's much more fun for you if I don't read in a paper. So if I can't find a word, I just ask you. We continue like that. Almost at the same time, we had a production, another TV crime production in our region, and it's based on the crime novels by Åsa Larsson. She's a pretty famous author in Sweden, and her books is exported to 26 countries. And they were shooting these at almost the same area. I mean, Norrbotten, it's 25% of Sweden, but they were almost on the same spot. That was kind of interesting. And to have film workers in the teams for all this, we had to look for people in the whole of Scandinavia. It wasn't possible, even not in Sweden, to find people for this. I think the day salary for one of these productions, the big one, Midnight Sun, was about 500,000 Swedish crowns each day. That was 8 episodes for C More and TV4, Swedish TV4. And what do they have in common? It's this city, Kiruna, Giron in Sami. And I add LKAB, the mining company. I mean, really, they kind of own the city, even though they have local politicians. That is the city hall. They're going to move the city. And that's the part of the story in Midnight Sun, that the mining company is what's it called? Järnmalm, iron. They had to dig up the city and move it to be able to keep up the export. And that's kind of a good background for a crime story. I mean, it gets even more interesting to come there. It's perfect. And I mean, every time I passed Kiruna the other day, something new has happened. Some new buildings have been torn down, or the new city hall is a little bit more finished and things like that. I mean, they have visitors from all over the world. This is not that common. And you heard the helicopter pilot in the trailer. He said, "Welcome to the land of the midnight sun." I mean, it's exotic. And how do we handle that? I mean, we live here. This is our everyday life. But we know what impact it has on the outside, the ones who has dark nights and evenings during the summer. But let's be generous and honest. We kind of enjoy it ourselves. So of course we should spread and tell the story about it. It's pretty unique. Oh, that's from a flight when I was going home to Luleå from Stockholm the other night. But why Norrbotten? Why the north of Sweden? Why was it possible? First of all, we have practiced for 25 years in my organization, in my company. That's a part of it. Because you don't just rush into this business and make some very good decisions and have some good productions. It takes a lot of time to build up the kind of network where you really can trust people that you are going in the same direction. I mean, that sounds like a big happy marriage or something, but it's the same. Because it's a lot of money and you have to trust each other, that they respect what kind of motives and interests that are connected with the organization that I represent. I mean, the total budget was over 100 million Swedish crowns We invested 4. Why should they listen to me? Yeah, because they know if we want to come back, that midnight sun is still up there, and that fantastic landscape is still up there. And if I want to come there again, I have to listen to that woman, what she says. And you have to take seriously about the demands we have when you come and shoot and make these kind of productions at our place. Nowadays, why Norrbotten is also, everything is not location, the beautiful landscape. We also have a studio, and now we have a brand new one outside Luleå, which is the regional city center. Right now, they are shooting a children's film that is going to be screened in the cinemas in Sweden, hopefully other countries as well. And the director's vision of this film is E.T. meets Pippi Longstocking. It's fantastic. It's called Alone in Space. So we have a big spaceship in the studio right now. Film is fake. But why Norrbotten, Sweden? I think there are some ingredients that we can't go pass through. You have to take it seriously, although we have a lot of fun at work. Since I started as a CEO at Filmpool Nord, we kind of made some cleaning in the office. And we have 3 quality aspects that we discuss in every project that comes to us, and especially the big investments. It's not just the quality for the big audience. It has to be there, but it's not just that. It's very important for us that people want to see the films that we produce in the north of Sweden. I mean, hey, we are a small region in the very distant part of the world, and we have something to show, we have something to tell. Then we have to take the audience very, very seriously. And it's not just the artistic quality, but that's a very important aspect of it. We are not into amateur, semi-professional production. We really want to cooperate with the best. And that's a very difficult quality aspect. I think not for you in this room, but for our partners in Stockholm. They don't often realize what this means. The regional quality. What's that? In what way does this benefit the region of Norrbotten? That's an aspect I always carry with me, and our commissioners as well. No, it's not the single one of them, the public audience, the artistic audience, the regional, the public quality, the artistic quality, or the regional quality. You have to combine them all in every big decision and investment, or at least try. And when we don't make it, we go home and we discuss why. What was it that failed this time? So it's kind of our continuously going homework with our job. And it's a big, this is a big business. It's a good business for the region, especially for the tourism. But it didn't start with Midnight Sun. It took place much, much, much earlier. It was a documentary maker from the north called Jonas Silber Augustsen. He's living in Stockholm, but he was homesick. And he took some friends with him in a car and went to Norrbotten and built a house in a tree one summer and made a documentary about it. And the tree was left, the house was left in the tree, and he went back south to Stockholm. And there were some pretty clever people in that small village that said, could we rent it out? And he said, of course, do what you want. And the rest is history. That's the Mirror Cube, one of the 3 houses in 3 hotels in Harads. Don't you miss it if you pass that village. Have a stop. Maybe you can't afford to stay there. I mean, it's Justin Bieber prices right now. I don't know if you heard that he landed with a helicopter and had to stay there. Oh, he was going from Oslo to Stockholm and then came there. But they have guided tours, so you can come in and see. So that was really the start of it. And what's in it for us? The business for the region. Every invested crown from us in a big production is 3.57 back during the production. And that doesn't include the value of visibility, national and international. It's just during the production of it. So is it art? Do I fill hotels? What do we do? It's kind of magic. Thank you.
It is magic, and maybe the other countries should learn from Sweden. I think all the other Arctic countries have incentives.
Yeah,
that, yeah? Sweden doesn't, and they survive.
So that's why the snowman was shot in Norway instead.
Yeah, we bought
because
it.
they did some research in our region, but they went to Norway.
And Iceland is the incentive king.
Yeah, absolutely. They were first.
As you understand, we don't have time for a debate, but I hope you sit tight. I'm sorry, all the fantastic speakers. We saved the best for last. Mm-hmm. This is a story from the northeastern tip of Norway. It's north of most of Siberia, I read. Yeah? You didn't know? Yeah. No. It's east of St. Petersburg. Yeah. It's called Vardø.
Istanbul.
And Istanbul. And Cairo.
Probably.
Yeah. This is Svein Harald from Vardø. And here is his story. Let this be the story that follows you out in 10 minutes' time. Okay.
Okay. Thanks you so much for being invited here. It's been a lovely day. So many interesting people, and it's just been very nice. I've tried to tell a story. It's like when I started this morning, I had 50 slides. And then I realized I had 5 minutes, so I had to go back to the hotel room and make it very much shorter. And then now I've been sitting, tipping, and seeing time have run, and So I have some slides. I want to try to tell it's a very, very big story, but I have to tell it very, very shortly. So let's start. I know we have technical problems. What? Okay, you can fix that. I can try to talk. Yeah. Okay, I come from a very small island called Vardø. My community has suffered great loss the last 30 years. We went from being a population of 4,600 people, and we are now 1,900. So basically 60% of the people have moved out of the town. And it's happened since I was born in 1978 until now. This change has been like very radically in the wrong direction. For me personally, that creates I grew up in this little community, which I really love from the whole of my heart. I had like a very, very nice, very, very nice childhood, which really connected to the place and my family. So seeing your place kind of getting torn to pieces, it really frustrates and really gives you a kind of anger, and also this kind of what can we do with this situation. I moved back. I used to work for the Norwegian army, and I quit that in 2003 and moved back home after 5 years and started working with projects. I'll give very, very brief from the projects I've been working on since 2003. So the first project I did in Hamningberg, which is 40 kilometers from Vardø, where I was, where we worked for 5 years. Normally all the projects I'm doing is working for like 3 years. And the whole story about that project was that we developed a way of empowering people through working with cultural heritage. When you kind of live in communities that are totally, destructed, when you start working with your own heritage and restoring things, it's not only the house who get restored, but also yourself. And after those 5 years, we did kind of a lot of projects in that small village. But what I understood was that this kind of can empower people. The kind of working with heritage really can empower people, and and also buildings and built environments. So we wrote a book. Then I moved this back to my hometown, which is Vardø, and we continued this kind of work that we have done in Hamningberg, helping people basically. To empower people, you kind of have to work with people, and helping more and more people with working with heritage. And they kind of have spread, becoming a lot of projects, like people starting projects all over town, starting restoring houses, working with their own history. And we are helping them all along the process in our work. In 2012, at the same time, I moved this project back to Vardø. An artist called Pøbel came to our hometown with an idea of using art in the same way. We had kind of the same thinking, same philosophies. This is a photo from Lofoten, where we did a big art project called Ghetto Spedalsk. So we did a big art project in my hometown together, where he as an artist, me as a placemaker, and knowing how to work with people, which had very big impact. Here are some of the results. Yeah, I have to go very, very fast, can't tell the story, but really, really big effect. And the most interesting part with that project was that all the artists, because of our cooperation with local people, we are local people, but with the community, they kind of choose to make site-specific things. They choose to work on the local history. And it becomes extremely empowering for people living there. It's not just an art project, but it's an art project that has made an immense impact on the community. This has resulted this is just a map of all the projects we're doing. I'm basically involved in projects all over the town. So we're doing over 50 restoration projects together with Hamningberg, and I think we are up in 70, 80 projects with people. Not all of them are finished. Some are finished, some are in the process, some will start up soon. But really, really big impact. This summer, I'm going to just start in 1 week. We're going to take a boat from Vardø, hopefully take a boat from Vardø to Terreberka, which is another marginalized communities where we tend to work. And we're going to, my friend Pøbel, who was there a couple years ago, did an art piece called Closed Chapter. And I came up with an idea of a new project name called New Chapter. And he found this wagon. So we basically want to try to build a mobile library inside this wagon in this small community of Terreberka on the coast of Russia, where we're going to kind of use all our experience from all the years we've been working. We're using local culture, only local materials that we find on place, and trying to empower people in a hopeless situation. This is a situation where this village is going to be torn down, almost like Kiruna, and it's all the settlement on Kola Peninsula, and it's going to be torn down because politicians want to work with tourism. They want to get rid of the local people, put them into housing, apartments, and to develop resorts and hotels. We don't think that's a very great idea. But we want to do this project and have local partners trying to make a comment on that. Yeah, that was actually the whole presentation in a very short time. This is another like a project we did with the Kuma Fest, where we took a moving bus, and which has moved a lot of families from our community, and we kind of made it as an art piece and put it into the ground, just to kind of make people understand what we are trying to do, because like a lot of these art projects and culture projects, for us this is about trying to, how to say, to do something in a situation which demands it. It's not about, we don't work for business. We don't work to create big business or trying to earn a lot of money. We don't earn any money on this project. We break our backs on this project. But what happens with this project, they earn a lot of money for the community. They give immensely of economy back to the community, but that's never our motivation. We don't work with that. We're not occupied with that at all. But I think that's the best type of projects. That's when the project makes the best impact. You're not sitting there with your... at least it seems so from the results that we are creating. We have generated hundreds of millions in investments the last years in our projects, but never with the aim of doing it. Okay.
That's fine. No, stay.
Okay. But,
the boss went out, so any questions for Svein Harald? We have time for one.
Yeah. I think I was very good with that.
I think you were fantastic. Because we met 2 months ago, we had each a presentation at here in Harstad, in fact. And I think you were 25 minutes over time then. Yeah. But no one cared. Yeah.
No.
So this was the other way.
The other way.
Fantastic.
A short, sweet story.
And you also go to Vardø. It's, I mean, and call Svein Harald if you can, if he's home, and visit him and have a guided tour. It's fantastic, both in the cultural heritage and the arts project. So I really just want... Yes, please.
What I would like to ask is thank you for the first thing. Wonderful presentation. I've been to Vardø for a few times, and there's a piece you did not talk about because it's probably not part of your project, but I want to ask anyway. The wonderful witch in Norway, which is a joint work of Peter Zumthor, the Swiss architect, and Louis Bourgeois. Is that part of what you are doing, or has that been totally separate?
It's a national road company project in Norway. It's like a huge project. Like they have a budget on 120 million. So I think like we normally don't work that big. but it's also a good story from our town. And,
So really interesting. But thank you for participating. Creative Europe is are on their way in here, and I think they're standing like this. And those of you who want to listen to Creative Europe, please stay, and the rest of you find another spectacular session. Thank you.